Hello, yes, it's me, and apparently it took me 8 years and a recent rewatch of the show to realize that every season of Teen Titans has a multiple-part episode dedicated to one of the team members except Starfire. Each season of the show has these multiple-part episodes, usually the finale, but not always, and 2 to 3 serious episodes that set up that finale dispersed throughout. In order of seasons, it was The Apprentice for Robin, Aftershock for Terra, Titans East for Cyborg, The End for Raven, and Homecoming for Beast Boy. Upon further research, I have discovered that yes, other fans have noticed this, though there's some people who see Season 2 as Beast Boy and Season 5 as the world's Titans, like everyone. But that's fine, because
Your wrong opinion. That's fine.
from interviews with the creators, it seems they knew they weren't getting a 6th season, but it also seems like if they had gotten one, they would have just expanded the team and gone more in the direction of later Young Justice seasons, which is a show I think would have been better if it had kept more of a narrowed. So it seems like Starfire would never have gotten her due. Just to make it more obvious to some of you who like to say that Starfire didn't need a multi-part episode because her standalone episodes were enough, I counted them all out and categorized them. These are the layouts for Season 1, divided by character, then Season 2, 3, 4, and 5. Some of these are debatable or could be switched around slightly, but this is the best I could do based on the main character arc of each episode, by number of lines, and who an episode started/began with. So, as you can see, they're pretty evenly distributed outside of the multiple episode arcs, except for the Crown Princess of Tamaran, Mustard Enjoyer, Mother of Silky, Queen of Rose. That's my answer to people who think she just didn't need her own arc. There are also people who just seem to think she doesn't have the depth to support her own arc, which makes no sense, because, you get more depth by giving a character more focus. That's how that works. We even got a movie, and they didn't take that chance to give her more focus, which is hard to be mad about, because my shipper heart loves so many moments in that movie. But I actually think the Rob Star focus of Trouble in Tokyo could have meant a Starfire arc still. All we had to do was change the villain and the setting. And since Season 6 is definitely not happening, seriously guys, you gotta let it go. Teen Titans Go is here to stay. And since if it were happening, then it wouldn't do what I would want it to do, I thought I'd try to create a rough outline of Starfire's arc for a Hypothetical Season 6, because I don't think she's a weak character. I think she has a ton of potential for growth and has some seriously interesting moments. I know that it's easy to write her off as a manic pixie dream girl, or a Robin's therapist, or a born sexy yesterday trope, and I think it may have been easy for the writers to get stuck on those points, but there are so many moments where we see her dimensions. She stands up to her older, more powerful sister in pursuit of what's right. She comforts Cyborg and Robin when they need some perspective. She learns to work with Raven's powers without invalidating the strength it takes to control emotions. She is clearly very intelligent and capable in battle, and it's clear from the episodes How Long Is Forever and Go that she's the glue that keeps the team together. Also, the idea that her arc wouldn't be deep enough, or would be repetitive, or that Blackfire couldn't hold her own as a villain are actually insane. How many times do we watch Robin learn emotional intimacy? How many times do we watch Cyborg take strength from his human side more than his synthetic? I have no problem with them learning those lessons multiple times. They're important lessons that were a little more interesting each time, but my girl was robbed. She got a Robin, but she was robbed. In this new age of post-Legally Blonde, big brain fiction that tries to give depth to perky cheerleader girl characters and subvert the I'm not like other girls mindset rather than demonizing traditional femininity, I think this is the perfect time to do this. Also, I love her, so shut up. She's my child. I love how a lot of Starfire's conflicts involve being underestimated, and then she gets underestimated enough to be left out of the plot. It's funny because it's sad. Obligatory disclaimer, I don't think I'm better than the writers of the show. I love the show. I don't think I can read their minds, anything like that. I also am no DC expert, but the show wasn't ever trying to be DC continuity heavy anyway. I won't even be referencing the comics that followed the series because this is supposed to feel just like the series was continued. I just need to get these feelings out. Let's get started. For the sake of symmetry, I'm going to stick to the 13 episode layout, and for the sake of continuity, I'm going to set Season 6 after Trouble in Tokyo. A lot of cartoons just don't acknowledge their standalone specials or movies, and because of the Rob Star kiss at the end, I think this is a good opportunity to actually see a committed, healthy, romantic relationship in a kid's cartoon, not a perpetual will they or won't they, and not an immediate breakup to keep ratings up. Just a normal teenage couple. And I know that things change probably wouldn't have been the last episode if they had been planning on a new season, but I'm going to work with it. So imagine a Beast Boy just learned that sometimes the people we want to help don't want help, and that we can't stay in the mindset of our childhoods forever. It'll lead to the new season. The idea of expanding the Titans and getting more of the outside world will also be explored, but I don't want to go the Young Justice route where the cast drastically changed. Just for reference, here's my Season 6 episode layout according to character. As an overall theme, I wanted to explore following orders / gaining independence from expectations because that follows the through line set up by the other arcs. Robin being blackmailed into following Slade's orders, Tara wanting to follow his orders to gain control, Cyborg being able to resist mind control, Raven being freed from her destiny, Beast Boy deciding to no longer follow his old mentor Mento's small brain orders. Leadership is another common thread. While Robin and Raven tend to need to learn to lean on other people, Tara needed to learn to stand on her own. Beast Boy needed to step up and lead to gain confidence. Cyborg fell in the middle, learning to be a leader but knowing he didn't need it to be a man. I think Starfire could also fall in that middle and learn how to lead, how not to be taken advantage of, but ultimately give up power when it's too much. It would echo her giving up the throne in Betrothed. And what better villain for those themes than the Citadel, who are fascist enslavers guided by a single consciousness. I'm thinking the first several episodes will be in the spirit of previous seasons, just character-centric, self-contained adventures. We start with a Beast Boy-focused one called Lucky Streak, I'm thinking, and it's about helping with cleanup efforts of a recent fight they had with some villain. Robin has also gotten Kid Flash and Jinx to help out, mostly just because I want to see more of them. Beast Boy tells Robin over and over that they can handle the job alone because they're the dream team. Also, I want to do that thing where one episode tells one half of the story and the next tells the other, so Beast Boy and Kid Flash are moving debris, redirecting bystanders, etc. while they hear noises coming from Raven and Jinx' side of things, but they're certain the girls aren't having any trouble with how responsible they are. While they do this, the Hive Five confronts them because they're all mad Kid Flash took away a member of their team. Wally and Garfield, being who they are as people, go too far in taunting them and bet Gizmo none of his tech could beat Beast Boy or Kid Flash in a race. Even the surrounding crowds place bets. This results in several races where Gizmo thinks they cheated because somehow Gizmo's mechanical arms keep malfunctioning while racing against Beast Boy the Cheetah and Kid Flash. This is because of Jinx' powers nearby, but they don't know that because dramatic irony. So they all end up fighting. All three of them. They try to pull the girls in to help them, but it's revealed that the girls are busy trying to stop a bank robbery. Oh my god. The boys help the girls stop Seymour Mammoth Private Hive from taking more money. At the end, Raven can say sarcastically to Beast Boy, "You're the dream team, huh?" Raven's focused one is next, called Just My Luck. And in it, she and Jinx are cleaning up their side of the block, or building, or street, I don't know. Jinx gets frustrated because she feels like cleanup is the worst job for her bad luck powers, but Raven assures her that she's used to making the best out of dark powers. They start getting creative and making a game out of using their powers to clean, like throwing a piece of debris in the air and shooting it so it can be made into much more manageable pieces. With all the joking and having fun, I wouldn't be surprised if they start talking about crushes on certain boys who like to crack jokes. That wouldn't be so bad. That's another thing I want to pay off the Raven and Beast Boy moments. They keep hearing frustrated groans from the boys' side when Jinx uses her powers, but they assume it's unrelated. Suddenly, they see some of the High Five robbing a bank. They're too late to stop them, but they're not too late for Jinx to stop Gizmo from getting away with money he took from the crowd. When she realizes her powers had been affecting the races across the way, Jinx is a little upset, but Kid Flash assures her that that was bad luck for Gizmo. He's a bad guy, it's fine. I kind of want the B plots of these episodes to be like Cyborg being jealous of Beast Boy's new best friend in one, and maybe some lighthearted domestic Rob Star stuff in the other. That could be fun. Cyborg Cyborg's episode in this section is called May I, and it's about trauma. Okay, hear me out. I always thought there was a potential with the episode Mother May I to acknowledge the tragic fact that these teenagers have pretty much no moms between them, and maybe that's part of the reason they would be able to be mind controlled. I mean, I know Raven's mom is alive, but she wasn't exactly present. And we know from the line in the end when Evil Cyborg taunts Cyborg with the fact that he doesn't have a mom, that Victor Stone's dead mom is part of this canon. I want to highlight him in particular since that line feels like it could be setting this conflict up, and he's the character who's been connected to mind control thematically. Plus, everything before this will have already hinted at the others' non-biological parental figures, Galfor, Mento and Elastigirl, Batsy. So I propose an episode where Cyborg is going on an errand, maybe trying to find a new auto parts place or making a snack run, and runs into Mother May I, just like buying groceries or something. Maybe she just got out of jail. I'm just fascinated with the personal lives of supervillains, seriously. Because, like, she's not attacking him or anything. She's not robbing a bank. Maybe he's surprised and in defense mode, but she assures him she's off the clock. She tells him he can come with her to the park to feed the ducks if he wants to make sure she's not up to anything. When he sits next to her on a bench and realizes she really is just feeding ducks, they can have just a nice, quiet conversation. It doesn't really matter what it's about, as long as it feels like one a mother would have with her son. In that conversation, I want to see Cyborg realizing how much he missed that sort of interaction. Plus, it humanizes a villain a little bit. Then suddenly, another villain runs by with stolen goods, maybe Mumbo or someone, and disturbs the ducks. Even though she's a villain, this is too much for Mother May I. She goes after Mumbo for revenge, and Cyborg goes after him because he's doing a criminal. Together, they take Mumbo down and stand over him triumphantly. Alas, Mother May I grabs the stolen goods and takes off with them at the last second. She throws a pie at Cyborg to mind control him and keep him from coming after her. Warm, fruity betrayal. Cyborg calls the Titans, who arrive, beat her up, and take her and Mumbo to jail. The whole time, Cyborg is obviously just angry at himself for letting her do it. Why was it harder to resist her than Headmaster Blood? After the fight, someone, I'm thinking Beast Boy, can tell he feels bad, and Cyborg shares the fact that for just a second he thought she'd be a nice mother. We fade out, keeping it ambiguous whether or not he's going to talk about his past. More stuff can happen in between, more fights or more conversation, but the gist is the Cyborg and Mother May I dynamic. Robin's is Don't Look a Gift Horse in the Mouth, and it's about trying to find the perfect gift for Starfire. Pretty simple. Mostly, I just need to acknowledge their relationship early in the season, and I feel like we never got a lot of Robin and Beast Boy interaction, and you know he would be so overly enthusiastic about sharing gift ideas for a girl. I think this could be a way for him to begin moving on from that soul-crushing relationship in which he can help make something new. After that will be the first episode of the arc, Homeworld. That or Enter the Citadel, I can't decide. In it, Starfire gets some kind of distress call from Tamaran. I'm sure she's got a way of communicating with them. She found out she was getting married, right? Galfor fears the palace will fall soon to the Citadel Empire and urges her to stay away from Tamaran. He tells her of the Citadelian general, who is ruthless in battle and who sits in his spaceship watching the destruction. If the general finds out about Starfire, the princess who was sold to him but who escaped, his revenge would be deadly. Starfire tells the team, obviously, she wants to leave for the planet immediately. They leave in the T-ship. We change POV to the Citadelian general using trickery and extortion to overtake Tamaran's palace and imprison Galfor and bring out Blackfire for information. She's serving a jail sentence at this point. She is more than happy to give that information because she's the worst. This glimpse into the villain's trickery is meant to be similar to the episode Trust. After that, the gang reaches Tamaran to find out what's going on. Starfire feels she should help fight the soldiers taking over the palace, but is blocked from doing so by Tamaranian guards who claim they need to protect the crown princess. They separate her from the team and take her to a bunker or a safe house or something, and ignore her pleas to see Galfor. In this bunker is the dungeon which holds Blackfire. The interaction between the two sisters will be the main focus of the episode. We can get into the nitty-gritty of motivation and jealousy and stuff. I imagine Starfire being like, why have you always hated me? And Blackfire doing a because you were always the perfect one. You could do no wrong in the eyes of the people. They didn't see your weakness. The world makes choices for you, little sister. You have to look out for yourself or no one else will. And Star can be like, my friends will, because she's the star. We can maybe get another fight between them, but we'll definitely get a fight between Star and the Citadelian general. Because, oh no, the reveal is that they were Tamarinian guards blackmailed or convinced to help the general, who comes out and tells Starfire he's had her friends locked up somewhere else. By the end of the episode, the general, based on Blackfire telling him that the main titans working together is what keeps them strong, will use a portal to send each member to a different part of space. Following that, there will be 4 episodes, one following each titan trying to get back to Earth with the help of other worldwide/intergalactic teen superheroes. The planets they're all transported to are Citadel-occupied planets, which means they have that to contend with. Full disclosure, this is completely inspired by that set of episodes in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003, where the boys get sent into different dimensions and have their own little fun adventures, except for Donnie, who gets traumatized. In real life, the new galactic superhero allies would depend on a ton of things: licensing, popularity, freedom to take liberties. For my purposes, I just wanted people who would be interesting to interact with and who would be conceivably floating around helping people out. Also, they need to fly if their titan can't fly. The original show itself tended to go with more obscure, just weirder characters who didn't necessarily follow the classical canon. I chose Cassie's Wonder Girl for our, big star. Big Barda, Karas, we'll get to him later, and Ultra Boy. These could be switched around. We could bring in Star's brother or Donna Troy, like in the show's comics. We could even put Superboy or a Green Lantern in here, but these are my current choices. Because this is the world of comics, I'm trusting people not to freak out at changes to things like ages and circumstances. It's my show, I do what I want. In the episode called What We're Up Against, Robin gets thrown to a very distant, rural part of Tamaran and gets found by Karas, who was Starfire's actual betrothed and then husband in the early comic days, which is not what we're doing here. I just think it'd be a fun Easter egg name. Especially since I'm pretty sure this moment in Betrothed was meant to be him, because he looks just like the Karas who was in an issue of the Teen Titans Go comics. Anyway, I want this episode to be Robin having to navigate Tamaran culture and getting to know those who are still actively rebelling against the Citadel. One of these can be Karas, a Tamaran citizen who helps Robin restore his broken communicator or develop some way of sending a message to the other Titans and telling them to meet Robin on Tamaran. He also sends a message to Earth to warn the tertiary Titans about the approaching Citadel. And they can build a new and improved. Raven's episode is hard-headed, and she needs to work with Big Barda to escape a Citadel prison. It's a heist episode, and I think they could definitely have an interpersonal conflict about solving problems mentally versus physically or something. Cyborgs is I'll Be Back, where he gets helped by Ultra Boy, also responding to the problems caused by the Citadel, and they have to get to the outer atmosphere by getting past a base that's run completely by robotic guards and AI, which can sense organic beings and treats them as threats. I really want a creepy episode in here somewhere, so this one's gonna have a lot of sci-fi horror / Terminator vibes. Beast Boy's episode is the Titan's Guide to the Galaxy, where Wonder Girl comes to save him while she's investigating the Citadel, but to get out, they have to do some space hitchhiking. So it's an excuse for some humor, a lot of different characters to meet, and a lot of different types of alien shit. There's also room for conversations about Raven if they start talking about relationships, just saying. Obviously, at the end of each of these episodes, the new character gets a Titan communicator. The last of these will be Starfire's, called Rutha, which, as you'll recall, is the Tamarinian word for weak, which is the closest thing they have to nice. She was the only one who got left behind because the Citadelian general thinks he can crush both Earthen and Tamaran spirits by making her an example and enslaving her. I'm hoping this would give strength to the idea of Starfire's dual identity, how she has a foot in each world. After being put to work on the ship the general is taking to Earth, she meets another Citadelian, let's call him Trant, just for fun, who is imprisoned for something stupid, probably like stealing food, I don't know. He's injured and she helps him escape with her. Because we're exploring ideas like free will and leadership, I want to do something with the Citadelian. Hear me out. What if, because the original idea for their species was a bunch of clones from one guy, and they're all about conquering planets for a single empire, what if it's possible to make any Citadelian do what you want as long as you phrase it like an order. And I don't want this to be literal mind control because we've already seen that with Headmaster Blood. No, I want Trant to keep asking Starfire to tell him what to do because he wants it. And she refuses because she likes free will. This could be used for comedy, actually. So it's kind of a softer, more socialized mind control. Maybe when she's made it clear she's not going to order him around, they get into a conversation. He questions why she would leave her people and her homeland for personal wishes to stay on Earth. Why would she choose her own happiness over the rules of the land? It's not necessarily condemning those things. There were other reasons involved, but considering how they might be perceived by other people. Starfire and Trant get to a part of the ship where they can get Robin's message from Tamaran and maybe fix Starfire's communicator. And then I want Starfire to have to consider compromising that free will in order to break out. She faces an escape route, which would be a lot easier if she ran off alone, but is impossible if she has to drag along this huge injured dude who's resistant to leave. The Citadelian general is approaching quickly. He's going to recapture them. Trant refuses to move because he wants to be given orders by a commanding officer. Finally, unable to let him be put in danger, she orders him to leave with him, and he does. She wants to get to Tamaran to meet the others, but she decides she needs to stand on her own for this moment because the general is on his way to Earth. She starts flying Trant to Earth to get there faster than the ship. She tells this to the team over the communicator. Yeah, I know. I don't want her giving Trant an order to be a character regression, to be clear. We've seen in Troc that Starfire's goodness refuses to leave people in danger, even when they want her to. But we haven't seen her deal with the consequences of that in this way. It's okay if it was a little bit of a mistake. Characters like her should be allowed to make mistakes. I love a gray area.
I support women's rights, but more importantly, I support women's wrongs.
The last episode before the two-parter will be called Cabin Fever. In the spirit of the show, it will be off-the-wall, insane, and ridiculous. After they get back in the T-ship and learn that Starfire is headed back to Earth, the team leaves Tamaran. This can be the non-plot related one focused on multiple characters. I imagine this is a bottle episode set only inside the ship. Because the gang is traveling through space towards Tamaran in a new and improved T-ship, this one is bigger, more like an RV, I'm thinking, so that they can actually move around together. Basically, I want them to get stopped by space bureaucracy. Some nearby planet sends up a mousy little government worker who says that they have to fill out a bunch of forms or get a permit to cross this region of space because the Citadel have thrown everybody out of whack. Every time they think one task is done and they can move on, some other planet restriction keeps them from moving forward. All the while, the 4 team members are starting to get on each other's nerves in the close quarters. Beast Boy's probably giving Raven a mental breakdown. It's a chance to have romantical confessions, arguments, insane hallucinations, everything. I'm thinking they use their brains to get out of it, like Raven finds a loophole, or Cyborg just straight up alters the ship to meet different specifications, something like that. It sucks that Starfire can't be here for this one, but thematically and tonally, I need her to go home alone. It's okay. It means Robin can worry about her. Then comes Dominion Part 1. The Citadelian general comes back with a huge ship full of his people, and he wants Earth to be part of the new homeworld. The team will probably reunite at the tower. We can have some small character interactions, like I think Star and Beast Boy could have a conversation about wanting to help people who refuse to be helped. Star can express immense guilt at what she did to save Trant. Beast Boy, Robin, and Cyborg can assure her that it was needed. Raven can tell her how much she admires the strength it takes to stick to those morals, and if she wants to fix it, she still has a chance to do so. Because the Citadel didn't release Blackfire according to their deal when she gave them information, she's pissed at them and wants to get out. That means, that's right, Starfire and Blackfire team up. I just want Blackfire to be more involved, and I think they'd be badass together. This could be a nice callback to Robin having to team up with Slade in season 4, or it could just be derivative, you decide. But those two villains are similar in the sense that they're motivated by spite and almost nothing else. It would be nice to have a conversation between Star and Robin about this. He can ask if she's sure she should trust Blackfire after all she's done, and Star can say that she doesn't trust her, but she will never fail to save anyone again. Part 1 will mainly deal with this team up and the sisters and Trant finding a way to break into the ship, which the Citadelian general has landed in the middle of the city to watch his soldiers take over. She can break out and offer her help to Star as the ship is still entering the atmosphere, whatever. Part 2 begins after they have access to the main ship. As the Citadelians swarm the populace, Robin sends Cyborg, Raven, and Beast Boy to help nearby Earth's Titans to protect people around the city. Here we can have a montage of all the Titans around the world fighting them. Meanwhile, Robin, Starfire, Blackfire, Trant, and the Galactic Titans, who answered their call for help, go after the Citadelian Joe. Homeworld is starting to lose its psychological grip on Trant, but he's still finding it difficult to make his own decisions. Starfire appeals to him with conversation. I want her to say something like this: I shouldn't force you to leave. Sometimes we do not get to decide when we are ready. I was taken from my home and I hated it because I had no choice. But I also did not choose to land on Earth. I did not choose to be saved by my friends, and I did not hate that. I did choose to stay, and I choose to fight now. Whatever choices have already been made for you in the past, you can decide what to make of them now. Will you choose to help me? We flash between Cyborg's team beating back invaders and Robin's team beating up the general, basically. There's room for some fun combat banter here, romantic or platonic or whatever. They come back together and finally get the general to surrender and agree to leave the planet. Gal4 sends them a transmission that Tamaran has managed to do the same. Yay! Everybody celebrates and hugs and smooches, whatever. At this point, I really want Blackfire to be about to turn on Starfire, like take her down while her back is turned, but Starfire is not caught off guard or fooled because she has grown. She hits Blackfire first and ties her up or handcuffs her or something, I don't know. So Blackfire can be taken back to jail. I want the last few interactions with Tamarans and Titans to instill the idea that the world is expanding and that they've gained some allies in the galaxy, and Starfire will be a sort of ambassador to those allies. But she doesn't want the kind of unlimited power the Citadel wanted. She can give a speech about friendship and welcoming newcomers as opposed to dominating them. The finale ends with Starfire saying goodbye to her new Citadel friend, who's decided to go with the Galactic Titans to travel the galaxy and find other people like him who need help. Starfire then basically announces to the retreating aliens that if they want to take over Earth or Tamaran, they have to go through her. You may clap now. Yes, I know. Thank you. I know. It's amazing. I've reinvented the art of TV writing. I'm just kidding. I know it's not perfect or complete, but it brought me closure. Hopefully someone enjoyed